I forget which company it was, but it was like an early 80s Thrasher magazine. And Rollins was in the ad. And I used to have it hanging up. And it was like Rollins sort of like doing like some kind of curb move. And it just said on top, like said, "Yeah, I ride them."
Yeah, I see that.
I first started hearing about skateboarding when I was like getting into, like, certainly like around 1980, like when I started listening to bands like Minor Threat when they first started making their 7-inches, and all the bands on Discord. Thrasher magazine was interviewing some of these hardcore bands, and so just by dint of that, I was buying Thrasher magazine just so I could read these interviews with these certain hardcore bands, and therefore seeing that there was this kind of underground skate culture that was like all about like thrashing, and thrashing was sort of like what we were doing with guitars. Slowly I started seeing sort of younger dudes like skating around Astor Place, around the Cube there. Then I saw a couple of dudes like clutching the back of like city buses and sort of like, you know, having the buses sort of propel them on their skateboards, and they would shoot off and do like kind of crazy shit like that.
Blessed with prayers in a graveyard of sound and delight.
When I first went to LA, like, it was kind of around 80, 83, and I started seeing like a lot more sort of skateboard activity. And you started seeing bands like Suicidal Tendencies coming up, and they were just like, you know, full on like just skate and destroy bands, you know. Like Suicidal Tendencies would come out in that video and go like, "Let's skate!" And
Let's skate!
you know, Mark Gonzales came up to us, and I didn't know who Mark Gonzales was at all. He was some kid who came to one of our shows or something. And he just sort of gave me this VHS tape. And I went home and I watched it, and I was just like kind of amazed by it, because it was the first Blind Skates tape, VHS tape. And when I was watching it, I was really amazed by how it was shot, because the camera was just sort of like, you know, it was like almost as if it was attached to the skaters in a way. So it was following them like through cars and like sort of like. And that to me looked so cool, and the action of it sort of, for me, really resonated, and it was all about like wanting to make a video like that sort of incorporated that kind of like filmmaking. And I was watching it with Tamara Davis, who's the director, and she said, "The camera guy has to be on a skateboard, that's all there is to it." I was like, but how can any guy really like skate and hold like the camera so steady like that? He must be like some kind of like wizard. And so we did some investigation. We found out it was Spike Jonze. I certainly did want to appeal to like the skate scene, especially in the mid '80s. And so it's like, you know, when I hear that the skate dudes are putting our music in their videos, yeah, I mean, it's totally cool.